So this is my art video project, and my name is Rachel. So the Flower Bed of Holland is the piece I've chosen, and it was created in 1883, and it was also known as the Bulb Fields, and that was kind of a nickname for it that Van Gogh created for it. But it is located in the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. So Van Gogh actually painted this piece during his second year at the Hugh, and that was like where he worked with his uncle. And it was actually his first piece using oil paintings, and it was actually he painted on a wood canvas actually. And later down the road, Van Gogh loved to work with oil paintings more because I think that it was easier to work with and creating the colors. The style that was used in this piece is realism though, and this piece is very different from the others because, as you can see, Van Gogh is very known for his paintings being outside, his paintings being flowers. Um, but in this piece, you don't see sunflowers because he wanted to paint something that reminded him of his childhood when he was on the countryside. And yeah. So about Van Gogh, his full name was Vincent Van Gogh, and he was born March 30th, 1853, and he sadly died July 29th, 1890. He was actually the oldest of six children. They grew up in a small village in the southern Netherlands, but Van Gogh was more quiet than his other siblings. He was very self-contained, and he spent most of his free time wandering in nature. And this is where he got most of his ideas. It influenced him to paint stuff that reminded him of his childhood, like just being outside, the flowers, the scenery, which is what he's known for. He got his first job working with his uncle at the huge branch of art dealers, and these art dealers actually helped him see who he truly was. And what's called they let him see who he was and understand that his piece matters. But Van Gogh didn't like art dealing because of the simple fact that the art dealers was just paint and then they would sell it to gain the money. But Van Gogh wanted to have his artwork mean something, and he wanted to show off his artwork and not sell it to people. But Van Gogh's life began to darken when he got rejected by his crush, and she was a small town girl, a London girl, and he began to focus on things that he wanted to do because Van Gogh at first he couldn't draw as well, but he worked hard. He self-trained himself to achieve the artwork that he had envisioned, but of course he needed some guidance from experienced artists. But his artwork became more popular after his death in the late 20th century, but most of his pieces were sold during auctions around the world, which was record breaking. And it's funny how Van Gogh did not like art dealing, but yet his pieces got sold later on, like after he died, and I think that's ironic. But he will always be remembered for his striking colors, unique brushstrokes, and his different forms of art. His style was powerfully influenced to modern art now and back then. The influences on Van Gogh was Paul Gauguin. He was one of Van Gogh's biggest influences, but he was the guy who also worked at the Hugh, and there was of course other artists that worked with Van Gogh, but Paul Gauguin was really the one who opened doors up for him and showed him certain pieces what he should do. But the biggest influence that he has on Van Gogh is like he had him decorate Gauguin's bedroom with sunflowers, but later on, these sunflowers would become his signature pieces later on in his life. And here's some artwork. I'll let you take a look. And here are my resources. Thank you.